The night was dark and the fog hung heavy over San Francisco like a shroud. On that fateful night of December 20th, 1968, to teenage sweethearts, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen decided to drive out into the countryside for some alone time. Little did they know they were about to become the first victims in a gruesome game of cat and mouse, orchestrated by a madman who had come to be known as the Zodiac Killer. The couple parked their car on a secluded road when suddenly a strange automobile approached. A lone man stepped out, revealing a chilling sight. His face was partially covered by a black hood, and he wore a pair of dark glasses. With a glint in his eyes, he motioned for the young lovers to approach him. What happened next was nothing short of terrifying. David and Betty found themselves bound, gagged, and forced into the trunk of their own car. As the killer drove them to a remote area, the terrified couple realized they were in grave danger. Their screams were muffled by the trunk, and their pleas for mercy went unheard. Eventually, the car came to a halt, and the man brought them to a deserted spot. He dragged the couple out of the trunk, leading them on a terrifying walk into the darkness. Then, in a brutal display of savagery, he opened fire. David and Betty collapsed to the ground, their lives cut short by the killer's cold-blooded actions. The madman had struck his first blow, but this was just the beginning. He was far from done. In the aftermath of the double murder, the police were baffled. The case was unlike anything they had ever seen before. A killer who not only targeted innocent victims, but also taunted the authorities. The Zodiac Killer's reign of terror continued unabated, sending shockwaves throughout California. In the following months, he struck again, claiming more victims and leaving behind cryptic messages that defied the police to catch him. But why? Why did he do it? What drove him to commit these heinous acts and evade justice for so long? One of the reasons for the killer's prolonged elusiveness was his ability to predict the police moves. He possessed an uncanny knack for staying one step ahead of law enforcement, always managing to disappear before they closed in on him. Additionally, the Zodiac Killer operated in a large and sparsely populated area, making it difficult for the police to track him down. He chose remote locations for his attacks, which not only added to the mystery, but also hindered the investigation. Moreover, the killer's boldness and audacity played a role in his success. He was unafraid of the authorities and reveled in the fear he inflicted on the public. This confidence allowed him to operate with impunity, knowing that the police were on his trail. However, there's something else we must consider. Could there be a more sinister force at play? Could the Zodiac Killer have had supernatural abilities, allowing him to escape the clutches of justice for so long? Picture this. A killer who not only stalks his victims, but possesses the uncanny ability to anticipate the police's every move. A being who exists beyond the realm of human understanding, forever evading capture. Now, while such a notion may seem far-fetched, let's delve deeper into the dark recesses of this chilling possibility. If the Zodiac Killer had supernatural abilities, it could explain his eerie knowledge of the police procedures and his capacity to remain hidden. Perhaps he possessed a sixth sense, a heightened awareness that allowed him to sense danger and move just beyond the reach of law enforcement. This raises unsettling questions. Was he a supernatural entity operating in our world? Or did he possess a level of intelligence that transcended human comprehension? Furthermore, his choice of targets might not have been random, but rather influenced by supernatural forces. Maybe he selected his victims based on their energy or aura, preying on those whose life force he could easily manipulate. If the Zodiac Killer indeed possessed supernatural powers, it would suggest a terrifying truth. Humanity is not safe from malevolent beings who exist beyond our perception. These entities can walk among us, exploiting our vulnerabilities and escaping the bounds of human justice. Let's return to the depths of human psychology and the Zodiac Killer's cunning tactics. Another reason for the killer's elusiveness was his sheer intelligence. He possessed a high IQ, enabling him to outsmart the authorities at every turn. His ability to think several steps ahead allowed him to craft intricate plans that baffled the police. But there's a darker side to this narrative. What if the Zodiac Killer's intelligence was not merely a product of his mind, but a sign of something more sinister? Imagine a killer whose intellect is augmented by something otherworldly, a being whose mental capacity far surpasses that of an ordinary human. This raises disturbing questions. Was the killer a conduit for extraterrestrial intelligence? Had he been chosen by dark forces to carry out their sinister agenda? Such possibilities may seem like the stuff of nightmares, but they are worth exploring to fully comprehend the depths of the Zodiac killer's cunning. The killer's intelligence was evident in the way he manipulated the media. He used newspapers and television to communicate with the public, taunting the police and providing false clues. This manipulation not only distracted the authorities, but also served to heighten the fear among the populace. But what if there's a more sinister aspect to this narrative? What if the Zodiac killer was not just manipulating the media, but was being guided by an unseen hand? Consider the possibility that the killer was a pawn in a larger game orchestrated by malevolent forces beyond our understanding. If the Zodiac killer was controlled by an external intelligence, it would suggest a terrifying truth. Humanity is merely a plaything in the hands of dark forces that can manipulate individuals for their own sinister purposes. But as we continue to peel back the layers of this chilling case, we must also consider another disturbing possibility. What if the Zodiac killer was not just a mere mortal, but an immortal entity? Imagine a killer who is not bound by the constraints of time, an entity that exists outside the boundaries of human mortality. This raises unsettling questions. Was the killer a vampire? Or a creature of the night who feeds on human blood and is cursed with eternal existence? If the Zodiac killer is immortal, it would explain his longevity and his ability to evade justice for centuries. Such a revelation would shatter our understanding of mortality and confront us with the terrifying prospect of creatures that exist beyond our perception stalking humanity throughout history. As we delve deeper into this chilling possibility, we must also consider the implications for humanity. If vampires are among us, then the safety and sanctity of our world are forever compromised. The Zodiac killer's case becomes a glimpse into a terrifying parallel world where immortal predators roam freely, preying on unsuspecting victims. But what if the Zodiac killer is not just a vampire, but a powerful sorcerer who possesses the ability to control the minds of his victims? Imagine a killer who can cast spells that influence his victims, bending their wills to his own nefarious purposes. This raises disturbing questions. Was the killer practicing dark magic that allowed him to dominate the minds of his targets? If the answer is yes, then we are dealing with a force that transcends human comprehension. A being who wields the power of the supernatural to control and manipulate those around him. The idea of a mind-controlling sorcerer among us is both terrifying and thought-provoking. It challenges our understanding of free will and raises concerns about the potential for such powers to be used for nefarious purposes. The Zodiac killer's case takes on a new dimension when viewed through the lens of mind control. Victims who willingly followed him to their demise, lured by his hypnotic gaze or compelled by an unseen force. This chilling possibility blurs the line between predator and prey and leaves us questioning the nature of our own agency. But as we ponder the depths of human evil, we must also consider a final, disturbing possibility. What if the Zodiac killer is not just a serial killer, but an agent of chaos sent to test humanity's resilience? Imagine a killer who operates with a higher purpose, sent from a realm beyond our understanding to assess our capacity for suffering. This raises profound questions. Are we merely pawns in a greater cosmic game? And what is the ultimate goal of this terrifying experiment? If the Zodiac killer is an agent of chaos, then the stakes are raised to a higher level. His attacks become a form of cosmic testing, designed to measure our strength and resolve in the face of unimaginable evil. Such a revelation challenges our faith in the universe and confronts us with the terrifying prospect of being mere playthings in a grand cosmic scheme. Now, it's time to hear from you. What do you believe happened to the Zodiac killer? Do you think he died, keeping his identity a secret? Or do you think he's still out there watching us from the shadows? Share your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on our latest videos. Together, we can try to solve these mysteries that continue to haunt us.